a Culture War Live at the Comedy Loft in D.C. scheduled for this weekend. We've moved it 1 month up because of the No Kings protest. The security requirement for having this event in D.C. was exorbitant and impossible to permit. So let me put it this way. If we're going to get like me, Alex Stein, the liberals would be fine, but Emily Saves America, if we're going to be at this venue and it's publicly known and advertised, and you've got these Antifa terrorists from across the country descending on D.C., they are absolutely going to make a plan to attack and disrupt this venue. Mm-hmm. And so what would we have to do? We'd have to get permits to block off the street to be able to get us in and out during these. It's never going to happen. Yeah. So we were like, let's just move the event, and we'll have it in November instead.
Which is literally what the terrorists want, by the way. Right? I mean, it's true. It's like that's why these kinds of attacks happen, is because they want to make it impossible for you and other people to do events like this.
And even if you're willing to do so, to make it so financially costly to be able to do it.
Yep.
There is a reality to how long we can do this show with the exponential increase in violence, lawlessness, death threats, etc. So I don't know where that threshold is. The death threats that we've received over the past month or so have resulted in probably the most extreme reaction we've ever had to have. I had to literally... I have been in contact with the FBI over the swattings. That was child's play compared to what's going on right now. As you saw, Benny Johnson was at a press conference with the DOJ over the threats to his family. Since the killing of Charlie Kirk, this has been a green light, and we have seen a dramatic escalation in threats. And our security team's assessments are that there is real movement happening among far left groups to exacerbate and escalate. And we're witnessing it. We're watching it on the ground in Chicago when they attack law enforcement, when the judges rule that federal law enforcement aren't allowed to protect themselves. It is coordinated, and it is getting crazier. In fact, we have another story we'll pull up in a little bit. A judge just extended the ruling. Trump cannot deploy National Guard. They are outright telling us those that do not align with us will be barred from protecting themselves.
Well, there's no question. Tim, going back to COVID, you know, I was doing a lot of work on the COVID stuff, right? I had a guy follow me from my house to the gym, knock on the window of my car, hand me a packet, make some threats, and leave, right? Now, I mean, I'm a big guy, right? I'm not overly intimidated by people, but here's the deal.
Like 12 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm kind of an ogre, right? But a little bit of Shrek in me. But listen, here's the deal. They know where my family lives. They made that clear. Mm-hmm. They know where I work out. They made that clear. I mean, this is craziness. This isn't the kind of thing we should be having happening here, but we can't negotiate with these people. There are a lot of people in this country we need to do like Charlie Kirk did and talk to. But the problem is not the people that we can talk to. The problem is the people that want to kill us, that want to hurt us, that want to push violence, who are willing to do whatever is necessary. Those people you can't negotiate with, you have to defeat. And that's what we need from the president. We need to go after the people who are funding them. You remember Tesla? Remember when we're going after the guys that are keying the Tesla cars? I said back then, why the hell aren't we going after the guys who are paying for the guys to key the Tesla cars? We got to go after the heads of the snake. Well, I know who they are.
I think the people keying the Teslas were just random people doing it. I don't think anyone was paid to do it. But the issue is, does everybody remember that earlier in this year we had, I think, like 70 some odd terror attacks? A woman driving a Tesla had someone speed in front of her and slam his brakes on and get out of the car and start screaming at her in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
That there were people who went to Tesla dealerships and unloaded rifles into the building and vehicles.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. You're right. Let me rephrase.
This is outright bleeding Kansas.
These people weren't being paid to do it, but the people who were funding the messaging, the people who are manipulating these low-level thugs to do stupid things, those are the people that need to be charged. The RICO charges. RICO is one of the most powerful laws in history.
You're talking about war powers. You're talking about wartime actions, because in a contemporary, modern, liberal democracy that describes the United States, we have free speech. And so if someone were to say something like, I think Tesla is evil and should be destroyed, that's considered free speech. There's no imminent threat. What we know now is that this is what I call the Tweedledee Tweedledum death threat, where there's two people on a street corner and one guy screams, someone needs to murder fascists, which is a generic statement. Then the guy next to him points at Seamus and says, there's a fascist.
That's right.
So neither of them can be charged because what they said was individually free speech. But we know that in coordination, they are telling people to go murder. We're at the point now where if we don't recognize that, we lose. And I'll add on top of what you're saying, what scares me, this may be, I don't know if the Republicans, Trump and his admin, are taking action as it pertains to voting to ensure that there is a legitimate voting process, knocking out ballot harvesting and other illicit voting practices. But if the Republicans do not win, we are cooked. Yep. And based on right now, we are seeing prominent middle-of-the-road individuals who supported Trump now walking back their support and moving to the left out of fear because the left will murder you and the right will not. That degree of fear has strong men dropping to their knees. And if that happens, the left wins.
I think the scariest part about that, I was thinking of Theo Vaughn when you mentioned that, when he walked back the comments that were made when the DHS or whoever it was released the video about immigration and deportation, and he said, "Please don't leave me out of this. I don't want to be threatened. I don't want to die.
They might kill me.
They'll kill me." And the point is like the scariest part about all of that, it's kind of a weird thing to think existentially, is like not only will they kill you, but you're going to die, and the media is going to frame you as evil. So you don't even get to die some sort of good death. You'll die in the face of the general public as some type of evil fascist, despite the fact that it doesn't describe you in any way, shape, or form. And I think that might be the scariest part for a lot of that, is if you were in a free press with journalists who are willing to openly look at both sides of the aisle and report honestly, you could take the idea to the public that this is what I mean, this is what I mean in my heart, and maybe the message gets out there that when something bad happens to you, you'll be framed in a way that is in line with reality. But you can't even bank on that anymore. Mm-hmm. So what person wants to go to war for something where they're just, they say the victor, whoever wins the war is the one who decides who's good and who was evil. So people don't even want to do it anymore because they don't feel like they're going to have any way of being seen as the decent person that they feel they are.
Exactly.
That's called demoralization.
Yeah.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And the good news is, you can actually cultivate a relationship where it becomes far more difficult to demoralize you. If your audience is God and you're trying to be in his good graces and friendship, it doesn't matter if people say bad things about you after you're dead. That can't hurt you. The reality is these people are going to say that any conservative who was legitimately martyred for their cause was a Nazi, was a fascist. They'll say the same thing about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and they'll even say the same thing if there's, heaven forbid, a successful assassination attempt on him in the future. That's why it's so important for him to not care about what these people think. And I just want to mention, Trump has been making some noises recently along the lines of what I'm saying. He's been making statements like, I don't know if I'm going to get into heaven, and I'm trying to get into heaven, but I don't know. I mean, that's got to be, and I'm encouraged to hear that because that's got to be his focus, is getting to heaven, and not whether these people like him.
I'd rather, he was on the plane on Air Force One, and he was asked by a reporter, and he said, I don't think there's anything I can do. I would have rather he just screamed Deus Vult and grabbed the camera and smashed it. I'd have been like, yeah! We're getting to a let me pull, I'm joking, by the way. Let's pull up this story from CNN. Federal judge extends temporary orders barring Trump administration from deploying National Guard to Portland. This story breaking from CNN. The ruling by the Trump-appointed judge blocks the federal troops from deploying to Portland for another 14 days. The orders were originally set to expire this weekend. By extending the temporary orders, Immergut allowed the court and appeals judges time to fully consider the case as the Trump admin remains blocked from deploying federalized troops. The case is expected to go to trial on October 29th. Now, I want to chill a little bit. I think there's a couple strategies here. Trump doesn't want to play the Insurrection Act card unless he absolutely has to. At the same time, riots disappear in winter. I think a lot of people were like, we were told to wait till summer, now wait till winter. That was one of the comments we got in the chat. I'm like, no, hold on. We are getting the arrests. We got Letitia James, we got Comey. They're saying that Bolton's going to get arrested next. So that movement is happening. Bannon predicted that. It has begun to happen. We're now moving into the fall. However, the mass deportations have been happening the whole time. Yeah. The issue, however, is national law enforcement, federal law enforcement, they'll go in and assist, is being blocked. When it starts getting cold, mid-November, these people will stop showing up because they are fair weather activists. Some may still. I believe that federal law enforcement are going to go out in their winter gear and they are going to keep enforcing the law. Now, in places like, maybe Arizona, Colorado, well, not so much Colorado because it's elevated, but Arizona and California, you may still see activists. I don't know about Miami. Miami's turned red. I think that Trump's strategy may be, let's wait to see what happens in the winter. if these people are all gone, we don't need to send in the troops. We will be able to handle these deportations, and we can reprioritize federal law enforcement towards mass deportation instead of protecting facilities. If that doesn't work, I think then he goes full Insurrection Act. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.